I'm having allergies. That was pretty. Sorry. Are we ready for part 3? I think I'm ready. Okay, we've got our little weird zipper thing going on here, right? Last night I went through my art room, just started digging through my papers and embellishments and ephemera and pulling out things that I thought I might want to use. You know, having no clue what I'm really doing. And I was surprised to find what I started pulling out. I don't normally make themed junk journals. It's really hard to make a themed junk journal be truly junky. It usually ends up looking like a mini album. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I do kind of like my junk journals to be junky. And if you start intentionally putting certain things in there, it can just start to look a little bit too planned and intentional. Excuse me. Which takes away some of the junkiness. You know, not a bad thing at all, but just not what I usually prefer. So rarely do I do any kind of a themed thing. But last night when I started pulling stuff out, I noticed that I was pulling out themed things, kind of sewing type things. Let me show you what I pulled out. It doesn't mean I'm going to use all this stuff. These are just things that caught my eye and kind of inspired me, and that's my jumping off point. Let's call it that. I've got buttons out the wazoo. I have jars full of colored buttons, and then I have this box full of all of these shirt buttons that I got. My mother used to own a dry cleaners, and she had kept these on hand for when buttons fell off during the dry cleaning process. So I've got those I can do something with. I've got this thing full of old carded buttons and a whole bunch of just empty button cards. So yeah, I can certainly do something with buttons. I think I've got that covered for sure. I also want to somehow use these zipper packages that, you know, came from these, and I think I had a couple other extras. But they might, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I could probably make some kind of little tag out of them, or something. I don't know. But I like these. I might want to use those. We're having a garage sale on Saturday, and oh my gosh, we need to hurry up and have that thing and get it over with, because I have been preparing for months. That's not an exaggeration. Months I have been preparing and putting stuff out there and then taking it back in. And this is why the sale needs to hurry up and happen, because I keep going out there and bringing stuff back in. And it's not that I really needed it. It's, you know, if it wasn't there, I'd be fine without it, but it just needs to go, because I need to stop that. I brought these back in. I have a whole box full of these trims and seam bindings and bias tape, and I pulled out a few in some colors that I thought might work. I don't know if I'll use them, but you know, they're there just in case. My husband. Okay, Jason just sent me a text message, and it says, I just got an email from a guy named Rock Dickey. No joke. Oh, dang. We are so easily entertained. I'm so sorry. Regain composure. Okay. Rick-rack, yes. Let's go back to the safe topic here. Rick-rack. I've got this to use, should I choose to do that. I found some papers. I've got this. This is, there's some tracing paper, I guess like carbon paper, and I don't know what. Oh look, how fun is that? Okay, this is some different, I don't know what that is, just tracing paper. But look, I peeled the tab back on this, and it says homemaking for Alanka Nafa, and it's like a piece of, I don't know what that tape is, but it almost feels like a first aid tape. But that's my mother, Alanka Nafa. This is copyright 1954. She must have used this. It had to have been middle school. Or it had to have been middle school, because she graduated from high school in 1963. So I know it wasn't elementary school. But, you know, that doesn't mean that she used it in 1954, but it, you know, it's likely a few years after that. I bet it was middle school, possibly high school. So anyway, that's kind of cool. And this I got, I don't know where, maybe at a thrift store, but it is from McCall's from the 30s, 1935, and it is a sewing instruction book, a how to sew book. And look how fun. So I might use some of these pages for the signatures. That would be kind of cool, don't you think? Oh, this is from Life magazine. Huh. How to knit. Million sweaters wanted by Christmas. Oh, funny. Okay. So, I've got those options for paper. I also pulled out anything that was like, then, you know, when I started seeing that I was pulling sewing stuff out, I started looking for sewing stuff. Anything remotely sewing or even just textile related. And this bag has a Montgomery Ward ad on it with a sewing machine. This is some kind of a dry cleaning tag. Oh, I found these, and I like, they kind of match. I mean, like, you know, they go. I don't know if I'll use them, but that might be a good thing for the signatures. So, and there's 3 of them, so there we go. I have dress patterns out the wazoo, so I just pulled out a few pieces. I have a couple of those, they're reproductions of old Sears catalogs, and I just pulled out a couple of pages that had sewing machines on them. And this is a piece of scrapbook paper that had something that had to do, oh look, there's a sewing machine ad. And then this is out of a, this is some more scrapbook paper. I think this was a Tim Holtz paper pad that had some sewing related things. That one, that's perfect really. I love that. This one has nothing to do with sewing. I found it in another paper pad, but it just looked kind of like it went to me. Don't you think? I don't know. I especially like this. So I may use that. This one too has nothing to do with sewing. It's out of a paper pad, but you know, I do want lined pages to write on, so I might add that. Don't know. So there's some paper things, and then I also pulled out some more of my typical junk journal papers. These are usually, you know, if I use a lot of scrapbook papers or pattern papers or magazine pages, I like to put some plain paper on them or near them somewhere so that you have a surface to write on. Because, you know, I like there to be plenty of writing surfaces. So I had a few of these little, index cards. And this is off of some paper pads, and see that this was just, oh look, the colors, they work, so I pulled those out. Some Post-its, some memo pads. These are just various scrap papers from my stash. And I love graph papers and ledger sheets. Those are some of my favorites. Some onion skin paper. So there we go. Lots of options. And like I said, I don't know that I'll use all of this or any of it really. I don't know what I'm doing. But there it is. Then I pulled out some different like little ephemeras. I found a couple of washi tapes, you know, just in case. And then I've got all this junk that I've collected. Some of it's really old and some of it's brand new. It's some packaging and some sewing notions, and I have several of these envelopes that from clothes, you know, where they give you the extra button. Several of those. Some vintage stuff and some needles. Those are so fun. I love those. I have a couple of those. And these I think were my grandmother's. She didn't take the time to, you know, cut the hook off. She just whacked off a chunk of the fabric with it. And there's several of them. And I think that's so funny. She wanted that fastener, but she just could not be bothered to cut it off properly. I think that's where I get it. Just whack that sucker off. Here's an old cloth tape measure, and you know, this is just more stuff. Some of those. This was some. This was something I either printed off the internet or it was some kind of collage sheet or something. It came out of one of my image binders, and I think I got that at Tuesday morning or something. And this is a thing of, look, it's a plastic deal that held a zipper. I've never seen a zipper in one of these plastic things, but there's the plastic thing. That's some of those. This is an old prescription box, and I've got some bobbins in there, which I doubt I'll use because, you know, they're big, but it's got a couple of these needle threader deals, which are kind of neat. And, you know, straps, and all of those came out of some gloves. Just various and sundry things. These are some more hook deals. So, I may do nothing more with this stuff than just look at it and be inspired by it. I don't know if it'll actually make it to the deal here, but I pulled it for inspiration if nothing else. Okay. Now that I've got all my stuff, now what do I do? I don't know. Well, how about, you know what, let's start making signatures, because from there, then maybe I can kind of, you know, once you start playing with the paper, then maybe other things, other ideas will come from that. Okay, this has a lot of pages, so let me start here. This old paper like this is brittle, so I may reinforce it with a little bit of washi tape or something, because these things will just crack and tear real easy. Now let me see. I wonder if there's anything in here about zippers. Okay, how can you have instructions for corded piping and not zippers? Fastenings. Fastenings. Maybe that's it. Oh. A slide fastener. Was this before the word zipper was invented? I think I will pull out these 2 pages because, you know, they've got zippers on them. And maybe, oh, how many signatures do we have? We have 2, don't we? I keep thinking 3 because I've got 3 zippers, but I need to remember that this one does not have a signature because that will mess with our folding. So we've only got 2 signatures. Okay, so anyway, these 2 are enough for now. Alright, pulled from there. Now, I see them. Oh look, I've got 2, 1 for each signature. Okay. And you know what, it is my tendency to make each signature be exactly the same. You know, if I have this in the one signature, I need it in another one. If I've got one of these in this signature, I gotta have it in this one. That is my tendency, and I have to make a conscious effort not to do that, or at least not to overdo it. It's okay to some extent, but that really is what I tend to try to do, is to make them exact, and that's not very junky. I struggle with random. It does not come naturally to me, but it can be forced. Okay, well, these are our 2 signatures. Now, I know that I want one of these in each one, I think. So, I think I'm going to use those 2. I'll save that one. And see, I'm setting this aside because I've only pulled out 1. And I feel funny about having one in this signature, but not this one. So I'm going to set it aside until I get over that. Or until I go get another bag to match it. This is not easy for me. Okay. These do not make good signature pages, obviously. They are more for embellishing, or I could, you know, glue them down and cover the insides. I do want to put something down on here. I don't know what. And I might just do little parts of patterns. That might be actually kind of cool. So that is what I will use those for. And it's another onesie. I've got this. Okay, this, what I can do, it's a little bit wide, huh? I am going to cut this in half. In half-ish. I'm not gonna measure. I'm gonna eyeball it. It's probably right about that line, I guess. Close enough. And I'll put 1 in each and then figure out exactly how to arrange that. To do 1 of each. Same with this. I know, you're over there going, "You're doing exactly what you told us not to do." And all I have to say to that is, mind your own business. I'm trying. Alright. These are not final yet. I'll go in and random them up a little bit eventually. So I usually like to have some kind of an outer cover for my signatures, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this for one, and I'm going to use this for the other one. And they don't match. They're from the same paper pad, I'll give you that, but they're not exactly the same, so I'm okay with that. Now, I've got this. You know what? I have one of these and one of these, so let's just put that like that. Let's start folding and just see what happens. And clearly, some things need to either be trimmed down or folded or both. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of go in, stack these in a random way. Okay. There. Now they're all nested. There's my signature. And I'm really just kind of checking for thickness to make sure that, excuse me, it's not going to be too bulky, and it's just fine. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages folded in half, make 16, plus some fold outs and some room to, you know, attach some other things on the edges. So now what I'm going to do is go in and start figuring out which ones I want to fold, which ones I want to cut down, and all of that so that they fit inside the book. It's an outside fold. Oh, see, I wasn't thinking clearly. I'm going to have to read. Okay. Because this, if I bind it right here on the zipper like I thought, when I fold it, it's going to have to be forced over this. This is not going to work. Maybe I should not bind there. Maybe I should bind here, but we decided that was not a good idea because of kind of the same reason. Maybe it only needs one binding. Maybe I need to put both signatures right here. Because I can't bind right there. I can bind it on this side. Like that. So you open it. That's what I had intended to do in the beginning, wasn't it? Or was it? I don't remember. That way I would have one signature. And then there, yeah. Okay, is that one gonna fit? No! Okay, how about I can cut it down and recrease it. Is that what I want to do? Or do I want to use it like that, fit there. Kind of, sort of, but not really. It definitely fit there. What do I want to do with that? I'm really not sure. So you know what? I'm going to set it aside and chew on it. And this one in here. Okay. So there's our first signature. Roughly, I will be, you know, adding and changing and proofing and fixing up. But I think that it's going to work. I think. Alright, set that aside. Let's work on this next one. signatures folded. One for here, right? Put this small one there. And let's make sure that everything is going to fold up correctly, and it is. Ha! Okay. Now, I don't know what to do next, so I think that I will end it here, and then I will chew on this for a while, and we'll come back for part 4 and figure out where to go next. So, stay tuned.